manage between 1 and 10 short-term rental listings and bookkeeping feels confusing, reactive, or stressful, you are not behind or alone. You're right where most managers are at this stage. This is the first real business phase of short-term rental management. You have real money moving around, you have owner relationships, you have real responsibilities, maybe you even have your first team member. What you don't have yet is scale, formal systems, or a large team to lean on. And that gap is what makes this stage feel uncomfortable. When managers come to us at this stage, they're usually asking the same 3 questions. Do I really need trust accounting yet? What do I need from a bookkeeping standpoint to stay compliant? And how do I set things up now to make it easier as I scale? Let's walk through those because getting clarity here removes a lot of unnecessary stress. First, do you really need trust accounting yet? If you're collecting money on behalf of homeowners, the answer is yes. You need some form of trust accounting. If you're co-hosting, where funds go to the owners, then no, you don't, but this video focuses on property managers who collect funds on behalf of their owners. You, as a property manager, have a fiduciary duty to steward your homeowners' funds until it's time to pay them. Remember, this is not your money. Whether you're licensed or not, you need some sort of system to track these funds. At the end of each month, you should know how much to pay each owner, how much you have in rental taxes owed, ideally by owner, how much you've received in future deposits for stays that haven't occurred yet, again, by owner is the goal, and last, how much to pay yourself as the property manager. More listings, more owners, more money moving at the same time. This is not something that gets easier the more you grow. You want to get it right now to save future you a lot of time and headache and potential legal issues. At this stage, what matters more than the software or the systems you use is whether money is clearly separated, reserved, and paid out consistently. This could be an Excel file, multiple bank accounts, or one of the few software platforms that cater to this issue. If booking income is landing in one business account, you understand what portion belongs to owners, what is yours, and what needs to stay for now, that's a good place to start. Where we see people start to struggle is where owner money isn't being tracked, it's being deposited into an account with other transactions, also known as commingling funds, or it's being held for months because it's unclear what belongs to who. This also manifests itself in the manager either over or underpaying themselves, leading to issues in the trust account and potential cash flow issues as you grow. Once you get past a few properties, that's usually the point where simple systems stop being enough. So, second question, what's the bare minimum bookkeeping setup to stay compliant and actually make this work? First, you need a dedicated business bank account. No commingling funds for you. All rental income should flow into that account. If you're really unsure on how to track this, get an online bank like Relay and open up one account per property. That's not something we recommend if you work with us, and it's certainly not scalable. But again, if you're just getting started, this can really help simplify things. From there, owners get paid based on whatever agreement you have in place. You, the manager, get paid, and if you're collecting taxes, those are paid as well to the proper jurisdiction. If you were to do this successfully for 1 month, funds would come in, owner payouts, taxes, and the manager payouts go out, and you're left with 0 in the account because everything is accounted for and paid out. Of course, this is not a 1-month exercise, which means it gets a little bit more complicated, but that's kind of the basic way the cash flow works. Ultimately, you need a way to track 2 things by owner: money coming in and money going out. And lastly, your records should make sense to someone else, not just to you. So, third question, how do I set myself up to scale? This is one most managers with goals are worried about, and for good reason. Here's a simple way to check. Can you easily describe who gets what from a booking? Think of this as your answer to a prospective homeowner. A guest books a rental for $500 a night with a $350 cleaning fee and pays $100 for a pet. who keeps what. And secondly, is every owner commission calculated the same way? If you can't easily describe who gets what, or the answer to the second question is no, it usually means your foundation doesn't quite match your ambition yet. Scaling relies on clear, repeatable systems. Can someone else describe your commission structure to a prospect? Can someone else on your team audit an owner statement to ensure accuracy? None of this gets easier as you scale, so make decisions that future you will appreciate. So, are you probably okay right now? Most managers in this stage are actually closer to okay than they think. If you have a separate business account, you're not using owner money to run the business, and you can explain how much owners and you, the manager, gets paid, you're probably not doing this wildly wrong. Where we usually get involved is when managers say, I think I'm okay, but I'm not confident, and I want to make sure I do this right before it's too late. Ultimately, this simple approach works until it doesn't. And you'll feel it when payouts take longer, balances get harder to track, and owner questions start piling up that you can't answer. That's often when managers come to us because they want that peace of mind. And that's a reasonable reason to get help. So in the next video, we're going to talk specifically about those owner payouts, how to pay owners in a way that's clear, fair, and doesn't turn into a bookkeeping headache. This is one of the most common places managers get stuck and one of the first things we help clean up. And if at any point you decide you'd rather not be the one figuring this out alone, that's exactly what Keystone exists for, so please reach out for help. But for now, just know this: if you're asking these questions, you're paying attention, and that's a solid place to be. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.